The future belongs to a different kind of person, with a different kind of mind. Artists, inventors, storytellers. You're listening to Toy Photocast. We are storytellers. Steve Mank is a toy photographer from Belleville, Illinois. His hobbies are spending time with his kids, reading comics or manga, listening to music, and working out. His favorite movies are Back to the Future and Terminator 2. His favorite TV shows are The Mandalorian and Invincible. His favorite book is Patient Zero by Jonathan Mayberry, which he describes as 24 meets zombies. His favorite toy company is Mezco, and his favorite podcast is Toy Photocast. His favorite figures to shoot are the Black Series Remnant Stormtrooper and Mezco Popeye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Toy Photocast with Articulated Times. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Toy Photocast with the one, the only Articulated Times. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you? Good to be here.
It's great to have you on the show, Steve. And I think for me, from one fellow Batman lover to another, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun episode.
Definitely, man. Definitely. I just want to thank you in advance, man. It's a huge opportunity to be on the podcast here. I've been listening for a long time. So this is awesome, man. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine, man. I always appreciate people like yourself that love this community and that just really are kind of the bread and butter of what this thing is really all about. And so it's an honor for me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So how long have you been doing toy photography?
Oh, man. I think I started on my personal page probably back like early 2017 or so. And then I ended up switching over to Articulated Times full-time, probably like August of that same year.
Okay. So about 4 years?
Yeah, coming up on 4 years, definitely. Yeah.
So were you a collector beforehand?
Oh yeah. I think if anything for me, when I started collecting, it was one of those things where I was a mint on card guy for a long time.
Oh.
And, I would kind of, see rumblings of, people on YouTube and so forth like that, cause I was really into, I started initially like following articulated comic book art. I was a big fan of that community with everything.
For sure.
And then I was seeing like people doing the toy photography shots. And it was one of those things where, I'm seeing dioramas. So then that kind of led me to Al Figures and him doing all his dioramas for the dio structure. And, I'm thumbing through videos and everything like that. And that kind of brought me over to D Amazing,
Nice. So after you started kind of seeing people doing like different stuff on IG, like, did that inspire you to do toy photography, or what was the kind of first step for you?
I'd say that the big first step, switching especially from that mint on card to, letting the figures breathe, was definitely seeing a lot of D Amazing stuff, man. Like he, doing the review, again, because I'm like, how does this thing pose and everything like that. And I feel like seeing a lot of his videos really inspired me to try to do what I can, toy photography wise.
That's awesome, man. So who else besides D Amazing is some of your inspirations?
Man, I would say primarily it's going to be D Amazing right out of the gate, because again, seeing just how he's posing with everything. And I think like many of us, on IG, I think, we stumbled across Sergeant Bananas at one point, and I'm like just blown away, like just, with the effects and everything like that. Because for me, a lot of the stuff that I was seeing, on articulated comic book art, it was one of those things, a lot of tangible stuff. So where when you see him more Sergeant Bananas, he's got more of the special effects and everything like that, and just really made the photos pop.
For sure. That's awesome, man. Yeah, those guys are incredible. I think I think all of us have at least somewhat have and used them, and is kind of like the, what's the word? It's kind of like a beacon of like what to aim for. Like,
Mhm.
you're saying like this is like the gold standard of like what we strive to be, because those guys are incredible.
Definitely, man. Definitely. The amazing, on the tangible side, Sergeant Banana is more of the special effects with everything, the shop. And man, it looks good. It looks good.
Bananas does a lot of practical, man. He does. He does like, I would say he does like 90% practical, and then like he'll
Mhm.
add like the little flair, like a little bit of extra special effects, just a tiny bit. But
Yeah, yeah.
that's awesome, man. So do you feel like since you first started doing toy photography, you feel like you've seen some improvements in your craft?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, initially for me, I started off with, construction paper backgrounds, like the green, the multicolor, and definitely trying to branch away from more of that to get more of the, maybe the outdoor shots, or maybe work in a little bit more Photoshop to some of my recent shots with everything. So just still kind of a learning curve with, because for me it was one of those things where when I first started, I'm like, I want to try to be as close to, the ACBA way with that, making sure that if I have stands or anything in there, that I'm trying to hide them practically. And then, trying to, it was kind of a hard thing for me to kind of go from that to maybe see what I can do with Photoshop, because again, I feel like there's been a big transition with that, where there are more folks that are utilizing Photoshop and they're making it look fantastic. um, and again, for me, for setup, it makes it a little bit smoother too, using Photoshop to eliminate a stand instead of having to play with figures to kind of hide the stand. Maybe that's lazy on my part, but it saves some time.
It does save some time, and I think being able to utilize both can be a great tool in your tool belt to kind of uh, you know realize if you, whatever image you're trying to create, you can already think like, well, if I have the stand or I have the wire in this location, like you said, you don't have to worry about it because you can take it out later.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it's a great asset to have both skills, being the practical and the special effects, for sure. So are you using any type of like post processing? Are you editing on your phone? Like, how do you take photos?
For a long while, so when I'm taking photos, I'm using my Canon 80D. I'm using like a 50 millimeter lens at this time. For the longest time, I actually used to do a lot of the editing through my phone. For the longest time, through Lightroom, and then through Photoshop Express. I just recently transitioned over and started using Photoshop on the computer,
Nice.
and it's still a learning curve. It's a lot of fun, because again, making things a little bit smoother, and you have a lot more options you could do with the desktop version. But just recently, yeah, with Photoshop on the computer, and it's been fun. It's a learning curve, man. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Me too, man. I feel like as much as you learn on Photoshop, there's still a million more things you can learn. Like, it's just never ending.
Yeah, and it never fails when I'm trying to, like, something is super simple, and then you got one guy on a video. It's like, oh, this is no problem. And he does it like in 30 seconds. And like, it took me forever to do that, but it's
Yeah.
just repetition, I guess. Getting it down.
Have you ever like considered like going to Fiverr.com and just like commissioning, being like, hey, can you like remove this wire for like a couple bucks?
I mean, hey, I'm sure the price would be pretty reasonable. It would probably save me some time, but takes away part of the fun, I think.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Maybe if you had like a whole batch of photos you're needing to get done or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's food for thought there, definitely.
Yeah. So when you're doing photography, do you have like an idea of like the shot you're trying to create, like when you start out, or do you kind of just go with the flow? Like, what's your process and how do you get your photos?
Generally, for me, I try to, I have an idea in my head of kind of what I want to do and kind of the angle I want to go with. Sometimes it may or may not work like that. I might have to alter the course, mid process with everything. But for the most part, I kind of got an idea in my head and kind of how I want to shoot it, where I would put the lighting, and but yeah, for the most part, it's every so often, it's never really on the fly. I kind of have a predetermined course I want to do, and I try to stick towards that. Now, what I'm trying to do more of is just kind of go more with the flow with everything. If something's not working, just kind of alter it on the fly, and go from there. because I feel like sometimes when I get so fixated on a certain angle, I feel like that kind of can take away from the shot where I'm like, I'm so focusing on this spot. But if I turn the camera just a little bit over here, now it just makes that photo pop that much more. Um, so definitely trying to be a little more fluid with that.
Do you keep like a kind of like a mental checklist of photos that you're wanting to do, or like how do you kind of like keep track of your inspiration for photos?
A little bit of mental checklist, a little bit of a physical checklist, just trying to kind of, sometimes I'll even kind of write down how, or like draw out like kind of how I want the figures to be and kind of try to work from there. Sometimes a lot of it is just going from, that mental checklist with everything, kind of what I want to do. And generally for me, I'll have like a few shots, and it's one of those things where if I don't get that shot, I feel like I sometimes can't move on to the next one until I get that one how I kind of want it with everything. So sometimes that's kind of a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, because I want to get it how I want it the particular way. But sometimes if I can't get it just right, it just kind of eats at me.
Hmm. Do you spend a lot of time like on your setup when you're like posing figures and working on the lighting? Like how much time do you think you spend when you're doing like a setup?
Man, it really depends. There was a few Snake Eye Saturday shots where, when I was going more of that ACBA route where I'm doing the stands and I'm trying to cover up the stands with like pallets and boxes and figures and stuff like that. I feel like that was more of a, maybe an hour or so, maybe two. Where some of the other ones where I did it and it was maybe as simple as like 15 minutes, some of the more recent Snake Eye Saturday shots.
Nice. Man, I pulled up your Instagram right now. I haven't seen this photo before, but I was looking at your Hot Toys Beskar Armando shot that you did, and he's just holding his helmet. Like for something like that, like is that a long setup? Because it looks really simple, but it looks like the lighting you did is like really nice.
The setup was pretty simple with that. I feel like getting the lighting just right was kind of a, I feel like that took the longest part. Just with the Beskar being so shiny,
Yeah.
obviously if I'm too close, there's going to be that reflection, or maybe you see one of the lights flare off on the side with everything. But for me, I feel like that was relatively simple. I've been using like a ring light that actually D Amazing suggested to me some time
Yeah.
ago with everything, and I just kind of had that off to the side, and then I've been using the one of my Loop Cube panels, and I just had a kind of an orange light shooting off to the side, and it turned out really well. I was really happy with that shot.
Yeah, the lighting is really crisp, man. Looks really good. I love that ring light that he's been using. I bought one too because I think he posted it in like a behind the scenes video one time. I was like, what in the world? Like ring light and toy photography. So I was like, I had to get one. But that's cool, man. Do you feel like with your lighting that you feel that's like, guess what I'm trying to say is like, what are you trying to achieve with your lighting? Are you trying to go for more cinematic? Or are you trying to go for more like artistic? Like, because a lot of people like to kind of lean towards one or the other. Like, what do you feel like you lean towards when it comes to like your lighting and your effects and stuff?
Yeah, try to do a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I feel like for me, my lighting is one area I feel like I've struggled probably the most on this entire time with my account. If you look back on the early years of my shots and everything like that, a lot of the light was really hot and really blown out, and it really just kind of took away from the figure. Where now, more recently, I'm trying to do more of maybe some darker shots here and there to kind of focus on like definitely getting my camera settings locked in, and working on those darker shots to kind of set more of a mood.
Mm.
Some of my more recent ones this year, I did some Batman shots, a little bit darker, kind of hitting it with a red light, some atmosphere aerosol to kind of really kick it up a little bit. And I've been pretty happy with it.
It's a never ending process, man. It never ends. Like once you learn like one trick, then you're like, oh, well, you just kind of throw everything else out the window, and then it's crazy. Do
Yeah,
you
definitely. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, man, I'm sorry. Do you have a favorite line of figures that you like to shoot?
Man, I would probably say figure wise, man, with Snake Eye Saturday, I've been really, really loving that Snake Eyes from the classified line, man. That's just been a lot of fun. really hard to collect, but a lot of fun to shoot. But I'd say I probably lean towards Mezco with anything. I've been definitely, it really actually kind of goes in waves where I might, when I first started my account, I was more like Revel Tech and SH Figure Arts, but then it kind of, you know, I've been collecting Mezco essentially since the beginning with everything. And, it kind of goes in waves where I'll kind of like, I'll kind of gravitate to, this brand for a little bit, and then I'll kind of move on to the next brand. But I think I feel Mezco is probably the front runner on that one.
That's awesome. Yeah, that Snake Eyes figure is incredible. I don't have one, but I got to play with one a long time ago at a buddy's house, and it's amazing. Like the engineering and the articulation, and I can see the hype and why everybody loves those figures.
Definitely, man. I wish, again, Hasbro being such a big company, I wish they would have made collecting those a little more reasonable for everybody. I feel like with making some of those Target exclusives, I feel like they really kind of shot themselves in the foot. You know,
Yeah, but the great thing about Hasbro is that they love to re-release. So
that is true.
if you're patient, they'll come back around, and it doesn't mean it's going to be anytime soon, but you can get your hands on like all of those Black Series figures that were like long gone and people were scalping on eBay. I mean, they're re-releasing tons of them. Like that Sand Trooper, like that was a hard to find figure for a long time, and now they're re-releasing those. Like I think Hasbro does a good job of kind of fixing their mistakes. At least they try to.
Definitely. But again, for like longevity, with being a collector, you definitely want to have that line that's adding value. And if a company is continuously re-releasing the same thing, then it's like, do you stick with the OG or do you get the new? So that's kind of the hard transition for me with Hasbro. It's like, man, how many versions of the same figure can you have?
True. I think with army builders, you can never have enough, but with the mainline characters, definitely it's there's a lot of newer collectors. Like I've been seeing, within the last year or two, like so many new collectors and so many new people getting into toy photography. Like, so it's not like there's not a demand for all of these things, because there is. It's really the companies are kind of struggling to keep up with the demand. Like there's, the Mezco line is getting, from my understanding, it's getting less and less produced. So there's not as many figures coming out for each new respective release. And so like it's harder to get, and there's more collectors, and it's just one of those things, man. It's like, it's a give and take, because each company wants to have kind of a little bit of FOMO with their line, because they want to have those people press that pre-order button. They don't want to feel like, well, I can just wait around for it and it'll sit in stock for months and months and I don't have to worry about it. They want people to kind of feel like, oh, if I don't pre-order this, I'm never going to get it. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I feel like Mezco's definitely
they've
got
mastered that.
Yeah, they've mastered that. Definitely. I mean, hell, there was times, I mean, even without even looking at photos, I'm like, I know I want this character. I'm not even going to look at the photos, and boom, done, pre-order. The nice thing, what I'm kind of liking about the last few releases, aside from what happened today with the latest Gomez, like that Wolverine or the Justice League's box set, they kind of just set that up for pre-order and just kind of, it's there. It hasn't sold out yet with anything. It's not waitlisted. So I mean, like, man, that's interesting. Feeding the market, more of those high end figures. I like that.
I think I might be wrong on this. Don't quote me, but I think for those, I think they actually are producing like those to like how many are ordered. So there's a pre-order window that's going to happen like One Stop Toy Shop, like after I think the end of the month, like you can't lock in another pre-order for Zack Snyder. Like that's it. That's all they're going to take. And so they're going to produce, kind of like Hot Toys does, because Hot Toys only produces as many as are ordered, and probably a little bit of extra cushion just to make sure they have enough for like, when they're fixing figures or if they're sending replacement parts or whatever. But that's my understanding. So I think that they're, for those mainline, like the Wolverine and the Zack Snyder set, like those are being produced to how many are pre-ordered, versus like the exclusives, those are already a set number that it's made. And once they sell out, they sell out. So
Makes sense. Definitely, definitely. I could only hope they do that same setup. I'm really looking forward to the comic book Superman. I think once that drops, that's gonna be huge. If they show that figure the same love that they showed for the recent Wolverine, whew, that's definitely day one pre-order.
Yeah, I would love to see like 5 head sculpts and like maybe even like a trench coat where you could like put the trench coat on and act like you're,
Oh,
changing
like
costumes.
yeah, that'd be
That'd be
awesome.
dope. That'd be dope. Yeah. Or maybe like a 2-figure box set where you could have like Clark Kent in his suit, and then you have like the Superman in the brand new get up. That'd be really sick.
Why don't we go one step further? Actually, have a phone booth in the set,
Oh
or
my God.
maybe make the box the phone booth,
Dude,
right?
okay. We need to
Oh
get
my
into
goodness.
marketing, dude. Let's get it. Let's
Whew.
start a business.
Yeah, as much as they, man, I love that Hazard Squad Gomez that came out. That had the whole get up with his base and everything like that, and all the slides. I mean, I could see them definitely doing something like that.
That was brilliant, man. That Hazard Squad Gomez was one of the most brilliant packaging I've ever seen. It was
Oh, really?
genius.
Definitely,
It was
definitely.
so good. Like utilizing like the box itself to make a diorama, genius.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I was happy to wait on that because I'm like, I know that figure was going to be amazing, and I mean, man, it's been fantastic, fantastic.
And all the accessories, like you get like pizza box, birds, all kinds of stuff. All the stuff
Yeah,
that you want, but you don't know where to find.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I definitely see people like selling just the birds for like crazy money on eBay because people want like the pigeons for their shots. I'm like I was telling you earlier, like everybody wants props for that stuff, and I mean, I definitely see a use for that, but man,
Yeah.
20-30 bucks for pigeons, I don't know.
I don't know either, man. That we should get in the pigeon business.
Right, right. I'm gonna corner that market. Let's do that.
Oh, that's funny. So, where do you kind of see yourself going with this hobby, man? Is this something that you want to continue? Are you still hyped on it? Like, what's kind of your vision for this hobby, and where do you see yourself in the next few years?
Man, next few years, wow. The big thing, man, I'm already coming up on 4 years doing this. I would love to keep doing this as long as I can. The big thing, definitely getting the engagement from, you know, other followers and stuff like that, or other people on Instagram has been huge. Um, Definitely just keep progressing as a photographer. I feel like my shots have definitely come. I feel like I've made some significant progress probably in the past year or two with everything, and I just want to keep kind of pushing that forward. I would love to definitely, work more, try to get more collaborations going. I would definitely love to try to work more, um, getting featured more through like Mezco or through Hasbro or anything along those lines. That, I mean, it would be a huge goal. I mean, I was featured by Mezco just a few months ago for my Superman shot, which I was just floored by. Definitely trying to extend that partnership. I've reached out to a few people, about just future releases. I would telling them I would just kind of love to work with them. I'll still buy the product, but I would definitely like to do something to just kind of showcase their product with everything, and just kind of put myself out there with everything.
That'd be awesome, man. Yeah, that Christopher Reeves shot you did is epic, dude. I
Oh,
did I
thank you, man.
I reposted that, didn't I?
Yes, you did. I appreciate that greatly. Thank you.
Okay, I thought I did. I was like, man, it looks so familiar. That shot is so good because you nailed the little the name is slipping me when he's in his what's the place called his castle.
Oh, the Fortress of Solitude.
Thank you. Yes, Fortress of Solitude. You nailed that aesthetic, man. It looks so good.
Oh, dude. And you know what? The craziest thing about that shot, I mean, just mere minutes. I feel like sometimes I stress out with shots so much where I'm like, man, I don't know if it's going to look right or the lighting and everything. I felt like that one came together just so quickly and so well. And I loved it, man. Thank you for the support with that too. I thank you.
No problem, man. I was floored when I saw it. I was like, man, that's just like there's something about like the way that you lit the eyes and like the focus on the crystal. It just was really good.
Definitely, man. Yeah, and with that, it was using the light up base they sent with it, and then I think I just only used like a backlight with that, and like some aluminum foil to kind of to light the background a little bit to kind of disperse that a little bit. But man, it turned out really well.
What lens did you use for that?
That was a 50 millimeter.
Was it 50?
Yep.
It looks so good.
Thank you, man.
Sometimes a 50 is just all you need.
I've been working with a 50 for probably actually just coming up on a year actually. But yeah, I've been floored with that. I've been doing a lot of outdoor shots with that. I would love to get something that maybe an 85 or something like that. I don't know. I'm kind of tinkering around with a few other things where, I had like when I had the Rebel T6, I had like the kit lenses and stuff like that. I don't know, maybe trying to get some more macro shots in or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, the only issue you run into when you're shooting those longer focal length lenses, like you have to get so far away from the
Yeah.
shot. You have to get so far away. And I didn't really know that till I used it for the first time. I was like, wow, like you have to get like 6, 7, 8 feet away to be able to like actually get the thing in focus.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes kind of with the 50 millimeter, I'm trying to get up right up close, and it just for whatever reason I'm almost too close, and I can't get that lined up just right. So definitely it's a spacing issue, but
Yeah,
I don't know, I'm enjoying it. So
what are you looking for to release wise, and what kind of things are you trying to pick up at the end of I guess we're not at the end, we're kind of still in the middle of 2021, but what are you looking forward to?
man, like I was telling you, I kind of go through waves of figures and everything like that, and I feel like this year has definitely been more Mafex heavy with everything. I ended up getting the Superman. I got the Dark Knight Returns, like the battle damage one.
Nice.
And then I think with Mafex, man, they've got a few more coming. They've got the Dark Knight Returns Joker I've got on order. They've got the Nightfall Batman, which as a kid, I absolutely wanted a figure like that for so long. The fact that Mafex is giving it to us now is amazing. What else? The Dark Knight Returns, the armored Batman, I think is going to be sweet. I'm trying to think what else here. God,
Forgot they're doing that.
Yo, man, I feel like that's probably not going to be till next year. I mean, the way they push things back, but man, I got that. What else? There's also the in-game Captain America that's coming out. That
Oh yes,
they've actually got a few versions. They still got Infinity War that still hasn't come out, and then they also have Endgame right after that. So yeah, I mean they've got a lot of stuff coming out that I'm definitely looking forward to. Let's see what else. Have you got the? Oh, go ahead.
Did you pre-order the Mandalorian Mafex?
Yes, I did. Actually, that's another one. Yeah, I got the Beskar version of that. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't remember. Did that come with a jetpack?
I think so. Maybe. Let me check. I'll check for you.
Okay, thank you.
I definitely I definitely can't believe the hype on the import Mandalorian stuff. I mean, I guess, but like you can't find like the Mafex pre-order anywhere. You can't find the figure arts. You can't find these anywhere.
Figure arts, which I'm really surprised that there was still. I mean, the IG was it 88 or 11? I always forget.
IG 11.
Oh, IG 11. Okay, so I know I was definitely looking around for that one, but I think that thing was an exclusive. That thing shot up. I ended up picking up the Heavy Mando, which I still haven't opened. I mean, it's crazy. I actually have the Beskar. I've got the what else? Yeah, I've got the standard release, and it's so many figures. I still haven't even opened everything up. It's crazy. So
yeah, the IG 11 figure. It's a great figure. That figure art you're talking about?
Yeah, figure arts. I mean, hell, even the Hot Toys, is that even dropped yet? I feel like that's getting ready to come out soon.
It has in it has in Hong Kong already, but it's not over here in the States yet. But I definitely have the Hot Toys one on pre-order as well.
Oh, definitely. That's a good get. I regret not getting the Heavy Mando and Hot Toys. And again, Hot Toys is, I just when I feel like I'm done with Hot Toys, they release all the Mandalorian figures, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll get one. And then now it's like I've got a few others on order. I think I got like the classic Spider-Man that's coming out. I think I even got the Miles Morales from like the PS4 game. I don't know, man. I'm really excited. They do really good stuff. Obviously, I'm not a fan of the price tag, but it could always be worse. So
yeah, those Mandalorian figures are just ridiculous. It's incredible. I actually It's funny, the heavy Mando I heard on Justin's Collections YouTube channel like in January, because I was on the fence. I was like, I really want this, but it's kind of expensive. I don't know if I want to get it. And but Sideshow, you can always do the payment plan. And
Yeah,
I was like, maybe I should do it. And then I heard that he was a like a super limited release, like not even half as many of the Mandalorians that were made. So I was like, okay. So I just put a pre-order deposit and got him. And then he sold out before he even arrived in the US,
oh wow.
which is rare. But
I will say that Justin's Collectible, if you're looking for like hot toy reviews, that guy is absolutely superb with some of his stuff. I mean, he's getting it. I mean, because he's from Australia. Is that right?
I think so. Yeah. I think he's
Yeah.
Australia.
So he's getting that stuff way before we even catch a whiff of it with everything. And man, that builds that hype. I just want to like, man, it looks really good. I'm gonna pre-order that.
Yeah, he gets the next day. So like he'll like whenever he releases in Hong Kong, he has the whatever company that he orders from, they ship it on the plane literally the day of, and it gets to his house the next day. So he gets it way before everybody else.
Yeah, there was a guy he was promoting. I forget the guy's name, but it was one of those things where for the Beskar Mando, there was a guy from, I don't know if it's from the UK or what, but he was doing the specialty armor where it was like the season 2 like thigh plates and a few like the dark saber and everything like that look really, really crisp. And I mean, with the stuff being Velcro, I'm like, maybe I need to update that. But I don't know. It's I'm really happy with the Hot Toys version though. I'm really, really digging that.
Yeah, I've got that one. I've got 2 more payments, and then I'll have that one on its way. But the thing about, like you said, about the customizing that season 1 Mando, the Beskar Mando, when they drop that second one, the second Beskar, that's going to come with a head sculpt, like guaranteed. It's going to come with a head sculpt. So it's almost like you got to get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the part I'm like, I know they're going to put it to me again. I'm just like, I'm just trying to clear out space to make room for both, I guess.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I tell you the one thing when we're talking about pre-orders, I actually just went in on a Prime 1. They released the Batman vs Superman, the Dark Knight Returns, like that big fight scene.
Did you pre-order that?
Yeah. I'm like, I've been wanting something like that for a long, long time. I know like DC directed like a statue, like a little like with 1/6 scale statue way back when. But man, this thing looks so good. So good. It's crazy expensive, but luckily there's a payment plan for that too.
Yes, that thing does look epic. It's massive, dude. Where are you going to store that thing?
I'm actually contemplating like building my own like display shelves with everything. I have a lot of the details like I was telling you about, and I'm thinking about maybe just either reposition those or getting rid of those all together and just trying to build something custom to put everything in. Because I already have 3 other Prime 1 statues and everything, because I'm a huge Batman fan. So I've got the Flashpoint Batman, I've got the Dark Knight Returns Batman, and they've got the Hush Batman where he's up on like the gargoyle with with the like the kryptonite ring and everything. Yeah, really, really, really pumped about that. So I definitely saw it, and I was like, I was on the fence, and it's one of those purchases where you're like, hey, listen, talking to your wife, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? What can we do? And so again, once I got the okay, I had to make it happen. So
yeah, I think for me, like I've always been a window shopper of Prime 1. That's never been something I've even considered. So I'm very envious of your ability to drop some pre-orders on those. But I think if I were to get any of them, that the Hush Museum Masterline, the new one.
Yes, it's where he's like in the Batcave.
The Batcave version.
Yes. Dude. I almost got that one. I was gonna go through Sideshow for that, and initially, like, I was wanting the deluxe with like all the swappable heads and stuff like that. Yeah. And the deluxe one ended up selling out, or the pre-order was full, or something like that. So,
well, it's still on Big Bad Toy Store, but yeah,
I think Big Bad, don't they want like a $300 or $400 like deposit before or something like that?
Yeah, it's a $320 deposit.
Yeah, I'll pass. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks great though.
Oh man, I mean, I gotta say, like, if you're, I mean, obviously, this is a toy photography. But I mean, again, statues, I feel like that's probably top of the line stuff out there. I mean, it's expensive, but man, it's definitely kind of a once a year kind of thing, getting some of these. So I've been getting Prime one for probably 3 or 4 years now, I think. But yeah, it's definitely not. It's not. You can't buy as many of those as you would like Mezco or anything like that.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I think for me, like if I were to only have just a few Prime One, I think I would just have to have like my absolute favorite characters, because unless you just have like a massive warehouse you can store these things.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, I am running out of real estate. I mean, at one point I had a whole bedroom upstairs with everything where it was devoted to statues and figures and stuff like that. And obviously with the addition of kid number two, that kind of uh, my real estate dwindled on that. So I had to kind of condense a lot of the collection with everything to kind of fit in with my wife's craft room downstairs. So we're kind of sharing space with everything. So I have to, wherever I'm getting, I have to make sure I have a location for it. If not, it doesn't go in.
for sure. So, man, this is the part of the show that I kind of like to dive into mindset and like how you kind of stay positive and like the way that you keep a fresh mental attitude. Everyone's got their own different things that they do. Like, what is some tips and techniques that you try to stay on top of your game with your mental attitude?
Man, the big thing for me is just trying to work towards a goal, achieve a goal. The big thing for me, what I do in my profession when I'm not doing toy photography, I'm a physical therapist assistant, and I'm working with folks that strokes, hip replacements, knee replacements, people that are in a rough way. And a lot of times I have to definitely be the cheerleader, so to speak, kind of to motivate them to get going with their therapy, get going with their recovery with everything. So again, it definitely having a positive outlook on what you want to do in life is a huge thing. Having a goal and working towards that goal is crucial with anything.
Hmm. Have you kind of translated that into your toy photography at all? Like with having goals?
Definitely. So for me, when I first started off, I was trying to get more, obviously trying to work on the followers, getting my followers up to get my content out there more. And again, with that, I'm at the point now where I'm just trying to enjoy what I'm doing, with Instagram. I went from way back when I first started my account, I was doing more toy news and toy photography. So I was definitely getting a little bit of both worlds. So I was getting definitely some more eyes on the product back then. Now that I've probably been with strictly toy photography, probably a little over a year and a half now. And it's definitely a big change, going from getting X amount of followers or X amount of viewers or whatnot through a day. It's definitely a big learning curve with that. But for me, the big thing is just trying to enjoy what I'm doing. Set up, I'm trying to think here. With that, I'm trying to just enjoy my time. Because again, with what I'm doing with toy photography, sometimes a shot could be as simple as 15 minutes. Sometimes it might be a few hours, with editing and so forth like that. But making sure I'm maximizing my minutes and trying to still be active in the community, but also at the same time not deprive my family of my presence. Making sure that I'm still putting family first in all I do. And I think that's kind of the thing where I was almost to the point where I was so anxious. I'm like, I got to post a shot. Where now it's just kind of just taking my time a little bit. If it doesn't happen tonight, it'll happen tomorrow or maybe the next day. So again, just trying to enjoy the process with that.
Isn't it a weird thing? Like, I feel like there's been a common thread for a lot of us that have at least been on the podcast. Like, there's like this compulsiveness that like when you first start out, like you have like this need to produce content. And then eventually this switch kind of goes off in your head. You're like, I don't have to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you realize, okay, like I can make it and I can take my time. And if it takes a little bit longer than I intended, that's okay. And once I get it out, I get it out.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just enjoying the process. There was times where, I mean, late last year, it was at the point where I was kind of almost frazzled a little bit. I love toy photography and I love taking shots and I love, communicating with everybody in the community. it was at the point where it's like I just felt like things were stagnant. I had ideas of things I wanted to do, but just like mustering up the energy, I just almost felt like just depleted. Because sometimes when we're talking about my profession, you're gassing somebody up to be positive and everything like that. And sometimes at the end of the day, I just didn't have it to, all right, I'm going to go ahead and set up a shot. I don't really feel like my heart was in it, but I feel like taking a little bit of that break, that step away, kind of help recharge things. It was one of those things where for a while, like, with toy photography, I think about it every day, but it was one of those things when I was taking that break off, I'm like, I looked at my wife, I'm like, I haven't taken a shot in like a few weeks. And she's like, yeah, that's weird for you. I'm like, yeah, but again, it's so much of that, just enjoying the process with everything. I think, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm ever going to be an account that's like 10,000, 12,000, 50,000, anything like that. I would love to get to that point. Don't get me wrong. But I just feel like how Instagram has shifted a little bit. It's so different from how it was.
Yeah.
I would, you set up a post and you kind of almost have an idea, like, I think I'm going to, maybe be able to get X amount of likes or viewership or something like that out of it. Now it's such a crapshoot. I feel like one where it's like, all right, I'm going to do this and I think it's going to be okay. And then, after an hour, I'm like, this isn't going anywhere. And then like, well, maybe give it a day and then still nothing. I'm like, so that part can be kind of frustrating, again, because again, how it used to be. So I don't know, it's like, when they switch the algorithm, I don't want to blame it on that, but I feel like there's so much of a shift from that. And it's just like, man, it's not about the likes, it's about the enjoyment, but sometimes it's kind of it's almost like mental terrorism almost. You think like, oh man, this is going to do really well. And then it gets out there and nothing. I'm like, so sometimes that could be a little bit of a blow, a setback almost. But, again, the big thing is just trying new stuff, trying new techniques, using different lighting, using, what you have available, but maybe in a different way to improve your shots, or
Yeah.
you're even asking people, and I think the big thing with that, it's probably been about a year ago. I was asking Scott Blind for lighting tips because that guy is a master,
Yeah.
and just his behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, shots turn out so well, and then for like the behind the scenes stuff is just such a huge asset for the community with everything.
For sure. Yeah. That is something that all of us deal with, like with as far as like the engagement and like Instagram and like there's people out there that you see that's part of the community that like it's like Instagram almost favors them above other people. And it can be very frustrating because you think you put in so much effort into a photo and you want people to see it. That's the main thing. You just want people
Main
to
thing, yeah.
be able to see the work and see the heart, the effort you put into. And when Instagram doesn't reward you with that, it's very frustrating. But at the same time, it's like they've kind of shifted this whole platform towards um, uh, pay per clicks, and it's more about trying to keep people on the app, and it's really weird. But the main thing is, as an artist and as we develop as artists, like you have to kind of constantly rethink and broaden your horizons as far as like what it means to be as a toy photographer in a toy photography community. Because I mean, as much as I enjoy Instagram, it really is a dead platform. Like you go on TikTok and you can you can see people on there just absolutely post one video, and that one video for whatever reason decides that it's going to go insane, and all of a sudden you're 500,000 followers. Like it's incredible. Like it doesn't even make sense.
I definitely say, yeah, I've definitely been gravitating more towards the TikTok side with everything, more for like the BTS and everything like that. I literally started probably early February with everything with that, where you got some of those people that have definitely were started last year, when everything was shut down and TikTok blew up huge. And they're definitely, I mean, there's a lot of accounts, I mean, 400 or 500,000 stuff like that. It's crazy on how much that's blowing up, but I definitely think they're onto something. I like the aspect, mix in a behind the scenes with your favorite song or something like that, and it's just, I feel like the engagement is so much more.
Well, yeah, and also not just, I think some of the things to get people's eyes on toy photography is to try to incorporate different things into your account as well. Like trying to just think outside the box as far as like maybe showcasing your favorite figure and just saying why you like it, or who does a great job of that is gosh, I lost his name. He's on there all the time. I can't remember.
I know.
I think it's Otaku.
Okay.
Otaku Toys, I think is his name. And the dude does a great job, and he's putting out content every single day. And like it's just great stuff. I mean, I think with TikTok, it's a platform that you can just constantly post and post and post, and it doesn't really it doesn't like they don't discipline you for that like as Instagram will. Like Instagram will really punish you if you just post a lot, but TikTok doesn't. So that's just different tips and techniques that you can try to get your content out there. But
Definitely.
yeah,
And then
I was just gonna last thing I was gonna say with TikTok is it's kind of like playing the lottery. It's like you just keep throwing your winning numbers out there, and you just keep trying, and eventually you may get lucky. So
yeah. I mean, I've had a few that did decent. I had a Miles Morales one that was probably my last one I've posted. It's probably been a few weeks, but yeah, I mean, just I don't know if it's timing or what, but man, I feel like people really gravitated towards that. And I don't know, man. I'm a big fan, and trying to transition some of that into Instagram with everything. I like how Instagram is trying to keep up and trying to do the reels. I think that's interesting. I don't know. It's hard to say.
it doesn't even make sense. Like TikTok, one of my videos, I think I shared about this with Liam on his podcast, but I did how you can react to videos and watch them, and it kind of films you while you're watching it. I reacted to like a Star Wars one on my Dagobah Customs page, and it got 250,000 views.
Oh my God.
I was just blown away. I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't understand. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Like you just like playing the lottery. You just never know.
Definitely. Was that the one where it was talking about like Han Solo and like the pit or something like that?
Yes,
I'm trying to. Yes. Okay.
That was
I
the
saw
one.
that. Yeah.
And I think so I know I like to analyze these things, but it may not be true, but I think the videos that get the most engagement are the ones that gets people to comment. So if people start commenting and they start talking about stuff, like the algorithm starts picking it up, and it keeps showing it to more people. So if you can like somehow get people to get engaged in the comment section, that's the thing that actually gets people like seeing the video. So that's my speculation. I may be wrong, but because there were like almost thousands of comments on that video. But anyways, so man, kind of wrapping it up here. I think we definitely are looking forward to more incredible work from you, man. I love the fact that you are able to incorporate so many different tips and techniques into your own photography, like because you come from a practical background, but you're trying to incorporate effects, and you're trying to constantly improve on your lighting. You're constantly trying to improve on different things. I'm very excited to see what the next step is for you and how you're going to branch out and grow as a photographer, man. Any closing words that you want to share with your followers and your community?
Oh man, I just want to thank everybody who has thrown a like, thrown a follow, anybody that's supported me over these almost 4 years with my toy photography. I can't thank you guys enough. A lot of this, with what I'm doing, is definitely a big thing for me. It's for toy photography. It is a huge outlet for me for mental health, for positivity, for creativity. So I just want to thank everybody that has supported me along the way with that. All the guys in the Snake Eye Saturday squad. Also, all the guys with Out of Order Productions. Thanks for the support with everything, the showcasing. Definitely appreciate it.
And where can they find you on the social media?
You could find me on Instagram at articulated_times. On there, TikTok, Facebook. Facebook, I'm not as active on that. So I'd say primarily Instagram and TikTok at this time.
Awesome, man. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Digabadays, and you can find feature pages that run Star Wars toy picks and the toy community on Instagram as well. And remember, we are storytellers. Get out there, tell your story, have some fun, shoot some toys, and enjoy the process, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you at the next episode. Peace.